We want to read today from the scripture, the book of Matthew, chapter 5, verse 25. Matthew, chapter 5, verse 25 say, "Come to terms quickly with your accusers, while you are on the way traveling with him, lest your accusers hand you over to the judge, and the judge to the guard, and you be put in prison." I want us to realize something as we are journey here on, as we journey on earth, as we are going about our businesses, and we are doing what we're supposed to do on earth. I want you to consider something, that whatever you want to do, you should think before you do them. Anything you want to do, you have to take thought of what you want to do before you start doing them. Because I have discovered something, that that wisdom consider consequences. Wisdom consider consequence of what the decision will be. The wisdom brings somebody to the knowledge of thinking of the consequence of the future, the consequence of the action taken, the consequence of the word spoken, the consequence of whatever the person wants to do. Any wise person would consider the consequence of his reaction, of his decision. While emotion, somebody that is not wise would just base on his emotion, his feeling, and he does not bother whatever that is going to happen. He does not think of the consequence of anything. That is how emotion, somebody that does not think, is not feeling the pains of anything. You just feel like can do anything. So your emotion will just tell you, go ahead. You want to sleep with a man, you are free to sleep with a man. You want to be lazy, you can be lazy. The emotion will never tell somebody that after sleeping with this man, is not my husband, is not my yes, it's not my husband, it's not my legitimate partner. What is going to happen? Emotion don't. He just reacts on his feeling, how he thinks. Emotion does not consider. He can, when something wants to happen, he just reacts and will not never consider it. Somebody that is acting on emotion will never consider his home, will not consider his children, will not consider, if I want to do this thing, what is going to be. If I say today, I'm not marrying this man, somebody that you have labored for 20 years, 30 years, is it easy? After laboring with somebody for 20 years, more than 20 years, 50, 30 years, and then before you know it, one day you just woke up and pack your clothes and the marriage scatter, everything. Emotion just go about reacting. You just react, not minding whatever that is going to happen, not minding whatever thing that is going to take place. But wisdom consider the consequences of his decision, of his action. If you're going to market or you're finding yourself anywhere and somebody embarrass you, and you now look at, wisdom will tell you just pass and go your way. While emotion will tell you, what do you stand here and do? Begin to fight, begin to draw the person, slap the person, and emotion would regret after. The person that is acting on emotion will always live to regret of his action, of her action. So before you take decision on something, think, because that is when wisdom, as I'm going to do this thing, if I steal this money now from the company, something happened, how am I going to? If they come after me, where do I get the money? What about the shame? What about the reproach that I'm going to? Wisdom would think, will make somebody as a Christian look at himself that I am going to be an embarrassment to the society, to the church, to my family. So for this thing, I would have done it. That is why Brother Paul said, if it is left for me alone, I would have done anything you want. You just see me eating anything, behaving anywhere I find myself, I go. I do things anyhow. But because I consider the future, the consequences of what I'm going to do, what I do, the decision of what I am doing, I'm taking the decision I take, what is going to be the outcome of the decision I'm taking. If I eat anything I want to eat, what about the people I preach to? If I behave anyhow, what about the people I try to convert? What about the people that are looking up to me? So, wisdom will always think of the consequences of his action of his decision. As a wife, do you think of your consequences? You want to leave the home, you want to misbehave, you wear whatever kind of clothes you wear. Do you think of the consequence that my children see me doing this? How will they be? What will they say? How are they going to react? Do you think of the consequences of doing things that is not proper, is not right? And the consequence of every evil work is going to be eternal doom. Do you consider that it is not just all about the earth? I walk here, I do whatever I want to do here on earth, and I behave anyhow I want to behave. It is more than that. The consequence, the end result to your action and reaction, wash over it, think over it. Wisdom will always think before acting. You don't just act. Wisdom don't just act. You will consider, hold on. Now I go and begin to fight, and then I disgrace myself because somebody has come to insult me. I now begin to fight. I don't consider anything. I don't consider, suppose I beat the person, I hit the person die, and I will be carried to jail. Or the person beat me and I die. And where would I go at that point? Wisdom will always consider a lot of things before acting. So that's why you see some people will look at some people that they are fools. When somebody look at you and say you're a fool, my dear, just keep quiet and become a fool. Because you become a fool for Christ. You are becoming a fool to take away the shame from your family. You're becoming a fool to take away reproach for you to live your life peacefully. You become a fool. That portion of the scripture we read say, while you are on the way with your adversary, begin to plead. Some people feel too big to tell somebody, I'm sorry. They say, instead of for me to tell the person, I'm sorry, let's go to court. Let's go to jail. Anyway, go to hell. Where I want to go. Anyway, they will regret at the end. The Bible says, when that person takes you to jail, to prison, he say you would spend to the last of your month before you come out. But wisdom will say, plead with this person, please. I'm sorry. Let this thing end at this place. Don't take it further than this. That is wisdom. That is wisdom. So wisdom will consider the end result of whatever he or she wants to do. Any action I take, what is going to be? If I have time to go to school, I refuse to go. I use my time to play. I use my time to do whatever things I want to do. The end result of it, what is going to be? The consequence of what will be after. I will come out of my parents' house, and after some time, I will be on my own. I am going to eat what I am reap. I'm going to reap what I sow. Because I did not sow seriousness, I wasn't careful of what I was doing. I was deceiving my parents to do whatever and believing that I am okay. So not knowing that the end result will be, at the end of it, I'm going to start my life. I will leave my parents, I will begin to live my life. When you are wise, you would think of the future. So the consequence, the decision you make, you should be able to consider it before. Because wisdom will consider the consequence of what he or she will make before he does that. So, my dear, in this life we are living, there's nothing bad in telling somebody, I'm sorry, and that thing ends there. There's nothing wrong for telling somebody, please, let this thing end here. Let us not go further. Pride is not good. Pride is not taking you anywhere good. Pride, leave your pride and submit. Consequence, wisdom would help you. Wisdom would consider and think of the consequences of the future. Wisdom will consider the life after death. Wisdom will consider, where am I going to be after now? Wisdom thinks about that. But emotion and feelings does not. They just do anyhow. Feelings, the way I feel is how I behave. The way I think is how I do it. And they end life in casualty. Repent and let God help you.